live. Actually live. Not live. Recorded.
Recorded, not
Real.
live. We've never been live. We'll never be live. Maybe we'll be live one day.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Live one would be fun with an audience. Maybe.
Maybe.
It'd be hard.
Big maybe on that one. Also depends on our guests.
Yeah.
We've tried to record before with some questionable guests, and it hasn't worked out so well. So,
Welcome to episode 69 of Auto Off Topic.
what?
Oh, what's that other voice?
I feel like we should have had a better voice. It's a better joke for that.
So I'm Andrew.
Yeah.
And you can't tell that's Andrew because Andrew's under the weather tonight.
Does it sound different?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Big time.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell that you're very nasally.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Andrew.
Yeah.
Yes. That, however, was not Andrew. Andrew's voice is not that far off. That was somebody you've heard before, Andrew's wife, Stephanie, who is not here because it's episode 69, but it's funny that it is episode 69 and we have a female voice, so we should
Just
make
here to
less appropriate
participate.
jokes.
Yeah, we figured you'd maybe have a extra voice. Might be helpful instead of just us all the time.
Well, also, Andrew's voice tonight is terrible, so we needed a nice, lovely voice to offset that.
Sure.
So Andrew's lovely wife, Stephanie, is joining us this evening.
I'm just here to make fun of you all.
You want
The
to,
audience will appreciate that.
let's,
If you
do
can
this.
bear with me a second, Andrew. I'm actually looking for tonight's notes. Did you email it to me, or did you send them via chat?
I emailed them to you
Okay, I will find them
like
that way.
2
then.
days ago.
I know. It was 2 whole days ago. And 2 whole days have passed.
So anyways, Dakar started.
It did, and every American is already out.
No.
No.
Ricky Brabeck
Ricky Bobby?
is running the motorcycles. Actually
Oh,
doing
yeah.
well.
As far as four-wheeled vehicles go,
Yeah.
the Americans are all out, though.
Yeah. Yeah, Bryce Menzies wrecked super hard, stage 2. I mean, it's a 2-week race, and you're out on day 2. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, that's not good.
That also goes into corrections, because apparently Bryce Menzies missed last year's Dakar with an injury because he was jumping his trophy truck. That is actually the world record for a car truck jump.
Oh.
1 mile. He jumped over the border.
Significantly shorter, but
Okay.
379 feet.
That's nothing to scoff at.
No rockets needed.
Right. Because that's about as far as you can go without rockets.
Yeah, a
obviously.
ramp-to-ramp jump.
Oh, it wasn't ramp to roses?
No.
All right.
No, ramp-to-ramp. And I think he broke his shoulder. So, I mean, it landed pretty hard coming down from...
379 feet. I mean, I don't know how high you go to get that kind of distance, but it's not going to be like a normal height that a car should land from. So, not that a car is designed to land from any height.
Nope.
But so, how is Dakar going otherwise, other than the Americans not doing very well?
It's eaten up a lot of veterans.
I know I saw a Toyota flipping today somewhere, or nose standing somewhere.
Loeb is out.
Okay, so is that he's driving a Peugeot, I assume.
Yep. Nati Roma,
So-
one of the mini drivers, he's out.
But now Mini built the car to compete with Peugeot, correct?
Yeah, that's more like a buggy.
Yeah. So, because the Peugeot is not really like a street car Peugeot either.
No.
So-
So they're like these purpose-built buggies.
So
For
is
the
the
cars
Mini
class.
competitive? I honestly should be paying more attention than I have been, but I've been really busy at work and life and everything. So
The NBC Sports coverage is really good.
See, I don't
But
have
they've
cable.
been like just, I think, in Peru the entire first 3 stages. And a lot of people got stuck in the dunes the other day.
Okay.
The dunes were like enormous. And like even like the trucks were getting stuck in the dunes.
Oh, like the big 6-wheeled
Yeah,
ridiculous
and
trucks?
people were like just stuck for hours that were like...
Were they trying to rescue one of them and then it crashed
Yeah, they're trying to
and rolled
pull-
multiple times?
They were trying to pull a Toyota up, and then it just like let go, like the toe strap broke, and it just rolled down the hill.
Oops.
Like 20 times.
Yeah,
Oops.
and there was just like helmets that they had obviously put inside there. They're like flying out of the doors, and the truck was like landing on their helmets. I was like, "Ooh, it's so expensive."
Yeah, I don't think the helmets are the most expensive part at that point.
No, but like just everything, just the worst. But I get that's the thing. That's why Dakar is literally the last great race, like the hardest race in the entire world.
Yeah, it's certainly not.
It's different every
simple
year,
feat.
and it really pays. It's definitely an endurance race, not a sprint. So if you go out too fast, too soon, you end up losing. Anyways, instead of losing, How about some winners?
Oh, good segue. I didn't even pick up on it. So we're going to talk about the coloring contest this week, and we have some prizes for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Those who entered in the children's category. We had 3 brothers, 2 and another set of brothers. So we had some extra prizes. So we're going to give all 5 kids prizes because
Cool.
that's just what we do around here.
Because we're
We're all
really
about
cool.
the kids.
Yeah.
We're all about the kids.
Not in a weird way, though.
No, thank you.
No.
Yes. Definitely not in a weird way. So
No.
please don't take, as Stephanie says, ever seriously. So our listener, John Rimmer, his 3 sons were coloring while on a road trip in their Gen 3 Montero.
Nice.
So, I mean, we're going to give all the kids, I don't want to be, very 2018 here and give them all participation trophies. But I hate to pick one kid over another because they're all kids and they're all awesome.
No, we just want to get them in the cars anyways. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's the worst thing you can do is get somebody in the cars.
It
Old,
is.
crappy cars.
But it's also the best thing he could do because then we have more friends. So his sons, Manny, who is 7, and Ralpha and Jez, who are 6-year-old twins, will all be receiving prizes. So
Now,
we'll be...
Are you going to post these on the Facebook page?
We'll
so
put a
people
link
can
up to
see
all the
them?
pictures, I think, or
Yeah.
a good number of them for sure. They'll be receiving prizes. Other listener who has 2 sons, Chris, who we've spoken of before, he actually owns a Delica, and he actually has 1 Montero, maybe 2? No, 1 Montero.
Yeah, 1 right now.
And for non-Mitsubishis, he's a rotary engine guy, and he has 2 RX-7s, 1 first gen, 1 second gen, and a rotary pickup. His 2 sons will also be receiving prizes from this for their coloring efforts, which is excellent. As far as the adults go, we're going to do prizes for both digital and hand-colored
Yeah.
pictures, but all of our adults
Analog?
entered...
Analog.
Analog, yes. Hand-colored, yes. Digital and analog, thank you. I should know that. Wait, an algo, inside joke.
Manual.
Yeah. Manual pictures, yes. Analog pictures and digital pictures, but all of our adults who entered with digital pictures. I didn't pull up that entry, Andrew. What was his name?
Yeah, but, were they hand-colored and then scanned?
No, I think that
They're all
like
drawn?
just full
All right.
digital,
All right.
full digital.
Cool.
So our rally friend, whose name I apologize, Andrew
Santiago.
thank you, is our adult contest winner for digital picture drawing, coloring.
Because he drew a rally arrow.
He turned the arrow into a rally car,
Yes.
which is pretty awesome. And our honorable,
Way to play to your judges.
yes, and our honorable mention is going to go to regular listener Yeti Overland
Yes.
because he did it in MS Paint, and he gets the comedy vote because he also did the arrow picture on purpose poorly, so I can call it poorly.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because it's on purpose poorly, and it made us laugh.
Okay.
So he will also get an award as well. So those are our winners for this contest, I think. Anything else for that, Andrew?
Nope.
Or is that pretty much it?
Nope.
So big thanks to all of the sponsors who gave us prizes to give out, which we'll be distributing to amongst these people.
And we'll have some leftover stuff, probably.
We'll have a few leftover things,
and we'll do
some other small contests.
We'll figure out
but
some things to do with it.
we should have mentioned real quickly that Mitsubishi Motors of the United States was the sponsor. Another sponsor was Paladin Trucks. Another sponsor was Andrew. You have
Mitsubishi 4x4.
Adventure-driven design.
Adventure-driven design.
Yep.
I don't have a list in front of me.
Mitsubishi Montero's USA
The
owners
Facebook group.
Yep. I do have it. It's darn.
There's some big ones in there that I'm really terrible. People that know me personally will know that I'm really bad with names, and I'll be telling you a story, and I'll have every detail like exact. But when it gets to a name, I just blank every time. I don't
It's
know
just
why.
like a memory thing.
I have a very, very visual memory. Like I could see vividly everything, except for names
Google
and
Drive.
Maybe it also
Letters.
sends the street name since you never know how to get anywhere twice.
I don't know how to get anywhere twice. I just go. Eventually, I'll make it there. So I'm late for everything. I always take the wrong way.
That makes sense.
I've been driving here for
Checks
years,
out.
and I'm still here. We are recording an hour late because I don't know where I'm going.
Well, they don't know that, but now they do.
Now they do. I'm not too proud to admit that I'm terrible at everything in life.
Way past Stephanie's bedtime.
Oh, you had some coffee.
Mm-hmm.
If I can click to the
Anyway,
right
we'll
thing
find that
here.
list. We'll add it later. Maybe we'll do a little insert where we add
Because Google
names.
Drive is being really, really slow.
Oh, it's in Google Drive. That's right too. I could probably find it there.
Come on. Oh,
Well, this is compelling audio.
oh, good job.
So,
Anyway,
100% my fault. I see what you mean. Google Drive is being very slow tonight.
yep. Project Car updates.
Changing the subjects that we know about. Excellent.
Nothing.
Damn it! What a bad subject.
Too
change.
damn cold. That's the Project Car update.
However, temperature is warming up a little bit to
Yeah.
a more tolerable,
Yeah.
30 degrees versus the negative temperatures.
I
that it
washed
was.
off some salt only to have it replaced by more salt as
The
the
important
snow
thing
has
is
melted.
your base was clean for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I washed my truck, I think, Saturday night. And by the time,
It was getting real bad. Like, it was getting thick.
yeah.
Crusty.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk by my car without getting covered.
It was like a preserved piece of fish.
Bacalao.
Yeah, like salted cod.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
And about as bad for you.
As bad for the car, at least.
I
Yeah.
ran through the car wash today with the cross truck on my way to work, and it was super busy, but also they had a sign up that was like, "Salt eats cars."
Yeah,
I was like,
HMA
wow.
in Salem.
No.
Oh, they had that sign up front there.
And I was like, well, yeah, you're right. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, maybe.
Or don't care.
Or
Yeah.
don't care. They trade the car in every 3 years.
I,
It doesn't matter.
True.
We used my car for a video at work, and the video ended up on Facebook. Somebody commented like, "Oh, you better remove that. We're by the rear wheel, and they're like, you better remove that rubber strip by the quarter, else
Oh, the
it's
one
going
that
to
holds
rust."
the salt. Yep.
It's like
Too
I
late,
felt like
bro.
responding too late.
Yeah. Okay, I want to take the episode back a couple minutes because I did find that list. So the sponsors who did donate the great prizes that I will be distributing amongst these winners were Mitsubishi Motors North America, Adventure Driven Design, Forced Performance, Baladin Trucks, Northeast Mitsubishi 4x4, Northeast Montero Owners Group, Florida Mitsubishi 4x4, and Mitsu Nation.
Sweet.
So that is our list of contests.
Yep.
And listen, we don't want to be bad to our sponsors and
Nope.
then in the future not have sponsors.
No,
So,
no. So we're anything left over, we're going to come up with some other contests.
yeah, there'll be like trivia maybe and just some goofy little things probably on the Instagram or Facebook page.
Yep.
So be on the lookout because there's still some cool stuff to give out.
So, anyways, with it being so cold, I did actually put a battery tender on the Montero because it's been sitting since it's so salty. It's been sitting in my backyard in the driveway.
It's not salty.
That truck is not salty.
Right, because it hasn't been driven because it's salty.
No.
Because the roads are salty, not the truck.
Yes.
The truck is salty because it hasn't been driven. That's what I'm trying to
So
say.
salty.
Yes.
This
I was
is
having
true.
a hard time getting through that sentence, but I got there. Yeah, so it's getting a little warmer, as I discussed. It's up to like a tolerable low 30s.
Oh, it's a heat wave.
It's going to be like 50.
and it's going to be like 55
And
on
raining.
Friday. Yeah.
And the rain. Lots
But
of rain.
tomorrow night, we're doing some Project Car stuff on friend of the podcast and last episode guests, Liz and Jordan's
The
Rally Car.
rally golf.
So there'll be some
GTI.
Project Car updates on other people's cars next week. Probably not our own, but
because they're trying to get it ready for the rally
Rally
sprint,
Sprint
at Team O'Neill.
February
February
18th.
18th.
Yeah.
Yep.
so that should be interesting.
Yeah, we're working, and we're going to crew for them.
Should be fun.
Going to get the car ready. Saturday, it's supposed to snow up in New Hampshire, where we're going to be for the Canaan Rallycross. Well, where I'm going to be,
Yeah,
and Jordan's going to be.
That, yeah.
Yeah, so we're running that Rallycross with the NER region.
Which obviously you'll be driving in the Subaru.
Yes.
Are you doing your own Subaru, or are you driving in?
My Subaru.
Okay, cool.
At this Saturday?
Yes.
So I'll be sure to mount your snow tires tomorrow
Yes.
or Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to do that later?
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Okay. I meant to ask that earlier. Because I owe you some stuff for your truck. So we're going to trade off.
Perfect. All right.
So, all right. We have a topic tonight.
It's taken us a half hour to get there,
Yes.
but here we are.
Is it 8? No, it's
Nah,
only 15 minutes. What
Anybody
is...
who's still left listening after that
Yeah.
train wreck of an opening.
Yeah. What is the most basic thing you can do to a car by yourself if you know nothing about how a car works?
Turn the ignition on.
Okay. I said put gas in it.
Okay,
It's something that it always needs.
that's true. Stephanie, can you put gas in a car?
I can.
Andrew,
I
can
do
you put
some
gas
other
in a car?
things.
Yeah.
Excellent. I can't put gas in my truck
No.
because it won't run right.
No.
I can put diesel in it pretty good,
Right.
though. Dad jokes all day.
Yep. And so, have you ever wondered about the history of gas stations?
Nope.
Okay.
But good try.
Okay. But what
My interest
about?
has not peaked. I am very curious, however, why some states have made it illegal to pump your own gas.
Yeah. You ever wonder like where full service and self serve came from?
I always assumed that full service came from the beginning of time the beginning of automotive time, because
You actually needed stuff
you
done.
needed stuff done. Like it
like
wasn't
every week.
Yeah, it wasn't like today where you just put gas in the car.
Yeah.
So I assumed that the full service gas station was like, hey, it's a community thing. Like, we'll have you put gas in the car. We don't want you to, because it's a big task, and you're going to get covered in grease, and you're on your way to work, and you don't want to be covered in grease on your way to work. So we'll have this guy who's wearing coveralls get himself covered in grease so you can stay nice and clean.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Okay, that's what I always assumed.
Yep. Because living on the East Coast, every time we drove to New Jersey or drive to New Jersey,
You get gas right before you hit New Jersey, and right after
yeah,
you
and
leave
right
New
after
Jersey.
you try not to get gas in New Jersey because it's so
Awful.
annoying
Correct.
and terrible.
Yeah.
Because it's full service everywhere.
It's probably not as bad if you're not on the highway, but when we're in New Jersey, generally we're just driving down the highway. So we're at the super
Turnpike.
busy turnpike gas
Yeah.
stations with these lines that go for seemingly days.
Yeah, because they can't just pump one person's gas. Like, it's so weird. I don't understand why
There's so much time that they spend doing other things. Like they stick the nozzle in your car, then they walk over to the next car, but then yours is done pumping, but then they're
But
off
they're 13
somewhere
cars
else.
away.
So it's just like this chaos.
And they make you go into the line that's the opposite side of where your filler is, and they drag the hose across your roof. It's
Yes.
super annoying.
So, on January 1st, the only other state that required that has been Oregon.
Yep.
And
Before January 1st.
before January 1st. And they repealed it. So some stations, it's like less than 400,000 people. No, less than 40,000 people or something. So in rural areas, they're going to allow it.
Okay.
But in major cities, it's still full service. But basically, the funniest thing about this is all the social media posts of people making fun of Oregonians.
Oregonians.
Yes. Oregonians?
Or I think so. What about our West Coast? Our West Coast input over here.
First of all, it's Oregon. But
It's Oregon?
it's not Oregon,
Oregonians?
Oregonians?
I guess. But it's definitely not Oregon as the state.
But whatever. It's such a weird thing to me that there are people posting, adults, that I can't put gas in my
put
car.
gas in my own car.
This is horrible.
So before we get to that, why do they have it? Why is it illegal in Oregon?
Organ.
Oregon.
Like a body organ.
Why? It's not spelled that way. Why is it illegal in Oregano and New Jersey to put your own gas in your car?
Well,
What is the purpose of that?
we're going to do some history first.
Okay, well that's history right there.
Yep.
So I want to know. But
Yep.
I don't want to get into the whole ridiculousness of I can't even say Oregon the way I've said it my entire
No,
life.
we're
now.
gonna
That's
do the
just
history
fun
of it first.
Okay.
So obviously, we're big proponents of DIY stuff in this podcast, and personally, I feel silly getting full serve because it's full is in quotes, right? Because it's just a person putting gas in my car,
Right, it's not full service
and
like
then
it used to be.
and then nothing else. And I'm an able-bodied person, so it just seems weird to have somebody else put
Right,
gas
and
in my car.
I feel the same way, and I actually feel guilty going to a full service station.
Yeah.
Unless it's 3 degrees out, and then suddenly I'm a jerk and don't care.
Well, don't you have a
Put
spill
gas in my
story?
car, please.
While you're pumping gas in your car?
I do actually, yes. That's what you want to hear right now?
Sure.
So this was probably, I'd say 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
And I was out for a lovely night in the town, and I was wearing my lovely night in the town outfit, and I was driving my 1990 Eagle Talon, and the auto off on the pump malfunctioned, and the car was full, and I was standing there just leaning on the quarter panel, not paying attention, and it spewed 4 feet out the side of the car under some ridiculously high pressure for whatever reason, fuel, and completely soaked me from like midriff to foot.
What if you were smoking a cigarette at the same time?
Luckily, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
What if there's some static charge?
I would be dead, and this
Yeah.
podcast would be with Andrew and unknown Brad replacement. So, I needless to say,
See, if you went to full service, you wouldn't have had that. You wouldn't have been late for
Possibly
your
not.
date.
possibly not.
Things could have gone totally different for you.
Possibly not.
Your life would have been.
It was a
drastically
life change.
changed.
It was one of those butterfly effects.
I don't think it was.
You didn't want to date her anyway, I guess.
Well, it was. This was a time in Brad's life where he was in a steady relationship, and that particular person did not leave him because he had to go home and change his clothes.
Okay.
So it was not that much of a life-changing
That's
event.
good, I guess.
It just made me really hungry come dinner time.
All right.
But yeah, no, it was gross. And my car smelled like gas for like months afterwards because I had to get in the car covered in fuel because what else do you do at that point?
Yep.
And I have cloth seats. And there was just, it was awful and terrible, and I wish that it was illegal to pump your own gas here now. I just changed my mind to this whole
I
subject.
mean, there was worse things that the inside of your car could smell like. So,
Not in my ownership.
I guess.
Yeah, like I'm pretty careful about things, and it doesn't smell really bad in my car usually. But gasoline in a confined area is not a lovely smell
Yeah.
because it was wintertime, so the windows were closed. I mean, it was not fun.
I feel like I don't generally feel like I smell like gasoline after I pump gas.
I mean, you smell like gasoline as a baseline, so
But I think this is like I feel like, Brad, too, you've said it before about someone that's in your family that, like, doesn't go and pump gas for the same reason.
because they don't want their hands to smell like gas all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking
But,
about.
like, I don't think that's really a thing.
It is with diesel.
Sure, but...
Oh, yeah. Diesel handles are like
It is with diesel.
greasy and
Yeah.
oily.
Terrible
and,
grossness.
And they've just been touched by a bunch of dirty truckers.
With beards.
Which we like truckers. We had no problem with truckers. And Stephanie's making fun of bearded people because I am sitting here with my beard and I drive a diesel truck. But no, I don't currently right now, but I have kept gloves in the truck before.
Yeah.
For a specific purpose of filling with fuel.
You could keep those cheap, like, food service ones, or like thin plastic.
That's what I had. I had a bag that you buy at like Kohl's for
Christmas tree shops.
$2.
$2.
I don't set foot in Christmas tree shops because that store really aggravates me, so I didn't buy them there. No,
Don't you just love a bargain?
I don't. Not enough to go inside that store.
That was a really regional joke.
Yeah, it's a really horrible store too.
It's not great.
It's like a.
Everything you never knew you needed,
and
but
I
you
still
really
don't.
don't need
you still
it.
don't need. It's like a thrift shop that
for
sells
new stuff.
New
New
things.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty terrible.
Is it
And
like
it's all in China.
is
It's
it-
all manufactured in
is it
China.
like a Ross?
No,
No, not at all.
Ross is great.
Okay.
Christmas tree shops doesn't have clothes.
So you know the online ordering site Wish, where you can buy things from China.
Yeah.
Christmas tree shops is like the real life incarnate of
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
It's just
And it's
terrible
not like
crap.
I mean, those people that live around here know what it is, but it's not like it's not like a Christmas themed store. It's just
No.
called Christmas tree shops.
Well, I think it started as a Christmas theme
Probably.
store back in the day, and then they're like, "Wait a second,
They definitely
this is a
carry-
very poor decision for the rest of the
we'll
year."
just be a discount store.
They definitely have a large Christmas section.
Well, they have everything you could ever need for holiday decor, like, as
Yeah.
that cycles through. So I guess that's part of it.
I've heard
I don't know.
that, but I don't shop there, so I don't know.
So, the other thing too, I almost froze my hand off one time when we were coming back from the Winter Challenge rally.
Getting gas?
Yeah, because it was negative 14. I touched the pump handle with a bare hand.
In my truck.
Yeah.
So it's also my fault.
Yeah, because the Raider was using fuel at a horrendous rate.
Well, I had to make up for that cold temperature.
Yeah.
The Raider always uses fuel at a horrendous rate, though. That's just the baseline for that car.
What would have been a terrible trick is if I had ever taken the old Subaru, to a self-service station in the
Yes.
wintertime, because that
Full
would have been
service.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. I did warn Steve about that.
I was going to say, hopefully Steve knows about that
did.
now that he owns the car.
Yeah.
He was-
I did
Filler
warn
neck
him.
proud.
Guess what, Steve? We knew that. Didn't tell you.
Nope. I warned him. So when and where was the first drive-in gas station?
New York.
Nope.
Drive.
Boston.
Nope.
Wait,
feel like
what?
I-
Define drive-in, because how else did you get to a gas station prior to this
Okay.
gas
Gonna
station?
walk up
So-
to this gas station.
So this
Put it
is
in my pocket, sir. Thank you very
This
much.
came from a Hemmings post by Kurt Ernst, and he said at the turn of the century, gasoline was sold in open containers at pharmacies, blacksmith shops, hardware stores, and
Blacksmith shops.
Yep.
Like when they have fire?
Yeah, because they had horses, right? And other.
What does that have to do with gasoline?
Well, you were. I don't know. You listen. If you're a blacksmith at the turn of the century, you see the car is becoming this invention that everybody's getting. Your business is going away, right?
Oh,
I better
okay.
buy
I got
some
you. I
gasoline.
get you.
I
I
better
better buy
get into
into
this
this.
gas game.
Yeah, it would
People aren't
become
going to need these chintzy horses anymore.
I
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah, so you could just get it at like random stores, and then you'd also have gas
Open
pumps.
container like a bucket?
Yeah, I guess
Like,
so.
So a bucket of gasoline?
Yeah, so you'd have gas pumps could also be located curbside in front of a retail store, like exactly as it sounds, like stuck on the curb,
That'd be cool.
like except for when the drunk person drives into them and they explode.
Ooh, yeah.
Well,
Not
thankfully,
great.
the cars at the time were only going 6 miles an hour, so it wasn't that big a deal.
The seatbelts worry they're non-existent or just get
No.
you near the scene.
No, there weren't any.
There weren't any.
Plate glass windows.
That's 50s technology with seatbelts there.
So
Got it.
it was December 1st, 1913, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it was the Gulf Oil Company.
Okay.
And they
I feel like... what year was that?
1913.
So the first 13-ish years of cars, they weren't drive-up fuel pumps.
There was some curbside, or you'd have to go buy gasoline.
Man, that is very inconvenient. So if you run so you actually have to walk to the gas
Well,
station.
think about how much
gas to
work
put in
it
your
was
car.
to drive early cars. It was a lot of
Like,
work.
you
Yeah, but I feel
really
like
drive
you
them
could drive the car to the gas station and buy the bucket of fuel and pour it in your car, and that's kind of the same thing.
Well, you probably could.
Yeah, well, I think you'd have a person at the well, it wouldn't be a gas station, at the repair shop or whatever it was where you went. They might dump it in there for you, like a funnel.
I guess I never really thought about the whole logistics of the system of fuel stations
In early
motoring times.
So think like the reason why gasoline became the prevalent technology for powering cars, because at the turn of the century there was both electric and gas cars. It's because gas was easier and cheaper
To produce.
and to put in all these places. That's why we have gasoline now. And that's the problem that is right now, is that you don't have enough power stations yet.
Yeah, the infrastructure's not there
The
yet.
infrastructure's
So the
not
infrastructure for electric cars now is like the infrastructure for gas cars probably was.
Eventually,
1910.
they're trying to make it better, like people like Elon Musk, and it will eventually.
Well, the other problem is I think a lot of the electric cars have like different plugs, don't they?
Yeah, I think they have one. There's like a Japanese standard, and then some other standard.
So just like a regular,
I don't remember.
Just
off
like a
the top
house
of my head.
outlet. There's a Japanese standard,
Yeah.
a European standard, and a
We'd have to look
American
that up.
standard.
So, anyways, this was the first dedicated station with a canopy.
And it was a Gulf.
And, and a Gulf. So they provided free. It was orange and green. I don't know if it was orange and blue.
Yeah.
The black and white photo. They provided free air for tires and would check the oil level in your car.
Okay.
Because
So
that was
is
important.
Is your full service.
Yeah.
This might be a stupid question, but did they figure out, like, then to put the tanks underground? Or, like...
No.
No, they didn't. They were giant drums next to the buildings.
Yeah, and then those big
Well,
glass.
actually, no,
things.
they're glass tubes.
Yeah,
That
cylinders.
you could see the gas inside the pump.
Graduated cylinders. That's
Yeah.
how you measured how much went in the car.
We had this wicked old gas station in my hometown, and it was really bizarre because it had, like, the original old...
Your hometown is currently stuck in like 1968, so I can imagine 15 years ago,
it's gotten a
even
little-
before then.
Yeah. But it had the little numbers that would, like, click over, like, the old alarm clock.
Oh yeah. We went to one of those when we were in Vermont or Maine or something. Maine last year, right?
Yeah.
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 The few of those around here and there, in very very rural areas.
That pump, and I learned from doing the research for this, that pump was easily from the late 60s, early
Yeah.
70s.
Makes sense.
which is what I said her town is stuck in, so it makes
Yeah.
sense that
Yeah. It was called Gas Mat.
Yeah. So, again, quoting Kurt Ernst, by the early 1920s, many larger cities enacted fire safety ordinances banning curbside gasoline pumps, effectively requiring gasoline retailers to construct freestanding structures set back from the road. As the decade came to a close, 24-hour fueling stations designed to meet the needs of truckers began to appear along major thoroughfares, while trackside operators, this is interesting, the forerunners of today's discount brand X retailers, they dispense gasoline from railroad cars on railroad tracks.
so they would drive up.
You drive your
drive
car
to
up
the-
to the
to
rail
the
yard.
train.
I'm going to get some cheap gas, and go see the.
So
Well,
it's
it's
like
funny 'cause I was-
going to East Boston to get your...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering how the distribution of gasoline even became a thing, because you can't distribute gasoline when you don't have a distribution network set up, because you need gasoline for the trucks to distribute the gasoline.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very complicated system to set up. So obviously they have trains that would bring the fuel from town to town.
Yes, I guess.
And then you could fill your big tank on the back of your truck and bring the big truck back to the gas station.
Yeah, you're literally saving.
It seems like a very complicated
you're
process.
saving pennies, like literally pennies.
Well, it was probably penny a gallon, so it wasn't even if even that much.
So then the first self-service gas station opened in 1947 in Los Angeles, and it had approval of the fire marshal, so it lasted a while. But it still needed attendants to reset the pumps, but not as many as a full-service station.
So that was the first self-service station.
In 1947, yeah.
Okay. I think you said full service, but...
Yep, self-service. But we were talking about earlier, what does full service mean anyways? And I think we were kind of too young to remember it, because I'd only ever seen it in movies. But, like, the car rolls into the gas station, and the attendant comes out to pump the gas and asks you what you want.
Yeah, and you pop your hood.
Yeah, they, like, clean your windshield, and top up your oil, and, like, visually inspect the engine compartment, and then check the air on the tires. But, like, nobody does that anymore.
I remember as a kid...
But maybe if you ask, they'll do it still?
I don't know.
We could go down the street and find out.
Yeah,
There's
there's a
going
couple
to be
self-service ones, yeah.
Full-service ones.
Yeah, there's a couple of full service around here,
ones.
yeah.
You just said
Or there's some that
self-service.
are like combo, which are always confusing.
That's usually
You got to
around
pick
here.
the right pump.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't occur to me till like...
That's usually the way it is around here.
We were at this down the street and we're sitting there. I'm like, why is nobody over there? And Andrew was like, because it's full service.
Yeah, it costs more.
I was like, oh, well.
Yeah,
So
that's why people don't do
I
it.
do remember growing up on Bridge Street, which is, again, very regional here. Bridge Street here in Salem, Massachusetts. There was a station called Monroe Brothers.
Yeah.
And I remember going there with my mom all the time because they were a full-service station. They would always check her oil, and they'd always fill up her washer fluid, and they'd always just make sure everything was...
And that was the idea, the extra
Yeah.
money you're paying.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to tip this person, too.
Right.
Hmm.
The,
Supposedly. I don't... That was the convention.
Did you guys
If I pay cash, I do usually tip the full-service guy if I
Yeah.
get gas nowadays.
Yeah.
Did you guys have 76 out here?
No.
No.
All right. Well, we
That's,
had...
yeah, that's another thing to get into, like how regional gas
Brands.
companies are. But even though gas is technically all the same stuff.
We had one, and that happened to be a full service station. And they would, you would just like roll up, and you'd always like pop your hood because they'd just come over and ask if you like need anything specific. And that was my childhood, which was not much like further away from yours.
Yeah, it wasn't that much afterwards.
Yeah.
I make fun of you for being
But
like,
again,
yeah,
my
that's
town
really
is
odd.
stuck in 1960s, so that
Yeah.
makes sense.
But so the idea is that, so what like full service typically meant was it was a car repair shop that also had gas pumps, so a service station.
Okay.
And-
It also probably was good for the service station to check your car all the time because they could find problems that were wrong with it.
Yes.
And they could upsell you like, hey, your fan belt looks a little worn.
Yeah.
Like,
Or in like Arizona, they'd be like, "Hey, you need some new wipers because it
yeah,
only
because they're
rains
dry rotted and it rains twice every other month.
Yeah, so they recommend and they upsell the gas customer to like change oil, and then
Yeah.
which I think contrary to like anecdotal stories, like cars were not as reliable in the 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s as they are now.
I mean, has there ever been that anecdotal story? I don't think anybody argues that today's cars are less reliable than 50s cars. Way more reliable.
I think older people do, like way older people.
I don't
Well,
make them
I-
like they used
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more they don't know how to fix it.
Yeah,
If it goes
Yeah.
wrong, it's too complicated for them to fix it.
yeah, that
But
might be
they
it.
break less,
But
obviously.
I think cars needed maintenance way more frequently.
I mean, have you ever seen the oil pump in like a 1950s six-cylinder Chevy?
No,
It's literally like a spoon attached to the crankshaft that dips itself in the oil pan and flings oil on the
Yeah.
top parts of the engine.
and then like
It's pretty terrible.
I mean, early Chevy V8s didn't even have oil filters,
Right.
or like an oil bath air filter, which is super weird.
the NSU has
Yeah.
an oil bath air filter. You
Yeah,
just
when I
fill it
saw
with
that, I was
oil
like,
and
this
let
is
air runs through the
bizarre.
oil. Yeah.
I think the other thing too, and just like things that you don't think about, definitely now that they probably don't do this either, especially is you could be like, give me a pack of Marlboro whatevers, and they'd go and get you your cigarettes.
That's true, too. Yeah.
Oh.
They'd run into the store and get you your pack.
Whatever you wanted.
When they didn't
yeah,
cost
bottle of Coke or...
Yeah.
That's true, too. I forgot about that being a factor.
So, like, I guess
Yeah.
if you had kids in the car or something and you didn't want to, like...
You had kids in the car and you wanted to blow smoke on them, but you didn't want to get out of the car because you were afraid to leave them in the car by themselves to buy your cigarettes.
And it's clearly safer to smoke in your car while refueling it than outside of your car.
Right. I guess this is the truth. Man, the 80s were a fun time.
So when did self-service come into fashion? And so the first step was the technology needed to exist, apparently, to reset the pumps from inside the service station.
Okay.
Because that didn't exist before. Somebody would have to go out and reset.
To zero them out between every car.
So this is an article from Sarah Hamaker from the National Association of Convenience Stores, believe it or not.
I like these little stories you're finding from these very, very, very obscure sources.
Yeah. So John Roscoe at first wanted nothing to do with remote access self-service gasoline. He had opened his first convenience store in 1957 in Denver. 7 years later, he opened a chain of 12 convenience stores. So then this one day, Roscoe recalls a man named Herb Timms stopped by with a box he had invented that would allow an attendant inside the store to dispense gasoline.
See here, I got this box here.
Yeah.
It's going to make you 10 times more money here.
Yeah, basically. Dispense gasoline at the pumps outside. And Roscoe says, I was initially reluctant. But fortunately for me, my banker knew Herb and convinced me to give his invention a try. So on June 10th...
His banker.
At the Westminster... Yeah, his banker was smart.
Yeah, the guy who financed this whole project in the first place.
The Westminster, Colorado location, Roscoe flipped the switch to activating the first U.S. remote access self-service gasoline pumps. So, selling gasoline was never the same. What made self-serve so important to the convenience store industry was that this is Roscoe saying it, we already had the facility. By spending $10,000, we effectively got the gasoline business from the other stations without their labor expenses. So it was purely to make more money.
So now this whole thing goes back to, we're talking about this because of the Oregonians.
Yeah.
Oregonians?
I don't know. Just say what you will.
People that live underneath Washington being all panicked about having to pump their own gas. Now imagine you're in 1964, you drive to the gas station, and since 1900... there's been a man that will come out, or female, possibly, mostly men, I'm sure, and pump your gas for you. Now you pull into the station, and nobody has ever done this before. And it's 1964.
Well,
and
yeah,
all right, guy, pump your own gas.
They had to have some people show people how to do it. But then once people realized how easy it was, and they're saving 10 cents a gallon, 5 cents a gallon, whatever it was.
Probably 5 cents a gallon total. They're probably saving 1 cent a gallon.
I think it was I think they said gas was 20 cents a gallon. You'd save 2 cents a gallon with self-serve. So by 10 gallons of gas, you're, 20 cents? That's significant.
Does not sound significant at all. I understand it probably was at the time, but...
Was the time, right?
20 cents falls out of my pocket half the time now. I don't bend over to pick it up. So
yeah, so it attracted customers to convenience stores. They went into the convenience store afterwards and spent more money.
Plus, you're already out of the car.
Yeah.
Whereas with full service, you don't even get out of the car. So if you're already out of the car, you might be more likely to go in the store and buy more stuff.
So this is interesting because self-service, this is from an article by Steve Robbie, the Denver Post. It says, because self-service was so unique, it took a good decade for it to truly catch on, said Jeff Leonard of the National blah, 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 the Association of Convenience Stores.
Not the blah, blah, blah.
Once it did...
Cite sources, man. Cite sources.
Once it did, convenience stores quickly became the country's dominant fueling stations. So think about it. How often do you go to a gas station that actually has a repair shop? It's not very often.
I feel like they're more common around here.
Yeah, but a lot. I think of today.
Now we have a few like BP on Jackson Street's a service station.
Yeah, but there's
that do inspections too that tend to
next to our house here. But the two gas stations I go to on the way to work, both convenience stores.
Yeah, Cumbies.
Yeah, I go to Speedway and there's Cumbies by my work.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Cumberland Farms and Speedway. Speedway is actually national now, I think, right?
I believe so.
Cumberland Farms is too, actually.
Yeah, Speedway took over Hess around here, so you have to order your Hess trucks online.
Which Hess actually took over.
What was it
Merit.
before? Merit?
Merit.
Yeah, it was something really. It was always the cheap gas.
Yep.
So that's interesting. And then in 1973 and 74, during the OPEC embargo, that's where
the fuel shortage.
Yeah,
right?
the fuel shortage that prompted California to mandate fuel price signs. Apparently, that wasn't a thing before.
So you just drove up and wheeled and dealed for your gas prices?
Yeah, so people would wait in long lines before they even knew the price of gas. So this also helped boost self-service because it would make the gas that much cheaper,
Well, I
especially back
guess
then.
actually during the OPEC embargo, when you had the long lines, if you didn't have a sign up to tell you how much the gas cost, and people were probably artificially inflating it because they had
exactly.
supply and demand. So if you're waiting in line all day for a commodity that usually cost you 30 cents a gallon in 1974, and it's $1.10 a gallon, you're like, wait a second, what's going on here?
So, let's see here. This is the quick history rundown. So 47, Frank Ulrich opened first self-service gas station in Los Angeles. 64, John Roscoe, first remote access store in Westminster, Colorado. 69, self-service gasoline accounted for 16% of all gasoline sold in the United States. 1973, a gas station in Abilene, Texas invents pay at the pump.
Whoa.
73. That was probably a big jump, too.
Yeah. 1981, all states but New Jersey and Oregon legalized sale of self-service gasoline.
See, what blows my mind about that...
1981.
No, what blows my mind about that
Yeah.
is it was illegal. There was a law in the books that said you couldn't pump your own gas.
Yeah.
How did that even come to fruition? Like, what is the... Like, why is that a bad thing?
We'll get to that. So 1982, 72% of all gasoline sold in the United States was self-service. So 1987, self-service gasoline grabbed 80% of the entire U.S. gasoline market.
So in 20 years, it went from 16 to 80%.
Because it's so much cheaper. And then 1994, 13% of convenience stores had pay at the pump. And then, this is interesting to me, 1996, what was starting to be phased out, leaded gasoline was totally... So, well, it had started to be phased out before. 1996 was when leaded gas was actually banned in the United States.
So it took from like 73-ish.
From the beginning of time, they had lead and gas.
Right, but from like 73, when they first started putting catalytic converters on cars, that's when they started selling a lot more unleaded because the catalytic converters couldn't run with leaded gas.
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine making that mistake?
Putting leaded gas in an unleaded car, you just burnt out your catalytic converter.
Okay.
Yeah. But, like, that's a whole weird thing that cars had to have lead in the gas, too.
Well, it provided a cushioning for the
valve
and
seats,
everything. Yeah.
which is so bizarre. Not only, also, it's incredibly poisonous, so that's why.
Well, I mean, I still wouldn't drink unleaded gas, so.
Yeah, but it would push, like lead would come out in the exhaust vapors.
No, I understand where you're going with it. I just was making a bad joke because that's our opportunity.
So apparently 2002, 80% of all convenience stores had pay at the pump. It's probably the 20% is probably all the rural stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because they still don't 100%.
Yeah. 2004, Sheets. You ever been to a Sheets?
Yes, I have.
They're pretty neat. Touchscreen kiosks at pumps. They introduced those.
So you can order your fried cheese balls.
Yeah. You know what I hate is the
You ever been
damn...
to Sheets?
No, what is that?
It's like a Cumberland Farms, but with way more unhealthy food choices.
And touchscreen everything.
So
Like you
it's
go
like,
inside and you order. You don't order from a person. You order from a
What's
touchscreen,
the
and a
one
person
in-
makes it for you.
What's the one in Rhode Island?
Which one?
People love them. It's like not a Wally, but like a...
A Wawa?
Yeah,
A Wawa?
those
That's
are
New
good.
Jersey.
They might be in Rhode Island, too.
Maybe,
yeah, they
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
migrate up. But
They'll be here eventually. Sheets is like Pennsylvania
Yeah.
West.
There's one near where STPR is. I went to.
There's one near Carlisle, too.
Yeah.
But they have
you
options.
don't go in? Did
You-
someone bring it to you?
No, you go in.
Yeah.
But you go in, you don't talk to a person. You walk up to a kiosk.
Yeah.
You order all your stuff through a touchscreen kiosk. And it prints out a little ticket. And another ticket was
person
printed out
makes it.
behind the counter.
Weird.
And they make all
Super
the
bizarre.
deep-fried ridiculousness that you want. So that's all it is. It's like fried chicken, fried cheese balls.
Yeah, it's all
Right.
pre-made stuff.
fried. It's all, frozen fried stuff that they just
And you
heat
can buy
up for
beer there, too, at the same time. And then you have the TVs in gas pumps now,
Which
is
are
really
super annoying.
Super silly. The
GSTV network.
I wish they would just, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Most of them have a mute button now.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I never. I'm not even there long enough.
Not
I mean, when
anymore.
you've got like a 30-gallon tank in your truck, you probably are.
Takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Need some entertainment.
Listen, I'm paying enough money to fill that tank. I want some entertainment with my
Yeah,
cash.
seriously. So 2011, 90% of all gasoline sold in the United States is self-service. So it's pretty good. And then finally, 2018, Oregon enacts the new law allowing residents of most counties with fewer than 40,000 people to pump their own cars.
Here's a number that makes me a little strange. 1994,
Yeah.
13% of convenience stores had pay at the pump.
Yeah.
1994 is 3 years before I got my license.
Yeah.
So in that 94 to 97, it must have been a huge jump because I can't ever remember a time where I didn't know how to go to a gas station and pay at the pump.
Well, when I first got my license, I definitely didn't have a debit card. I didn't have a debit card until I was like 18. 18 or 19.
It was a year and a half after you got your license.
No, but it was like 18 or 19.
But regardless, so I'm talking in 97 when I got my license, I feel like a hell of a lot more than 13% had pay at the pump.
Oh, I don't know.
But that would imply that you needed a card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume they never had, like, cash-taking
People,
pumps.
like, running out.
I mean, maybe they did. Like, were the first pay at the pump, were they actually, like, vending machines? You put cash in them?
If they're, like...
Because they didn't have magnet strips on credit cards until sometime in the late 80s.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because remember back in the 80s, the credit cards, they used to have that
like
carbon copy machine.
Or
yeah, the imprint.
Or you had, before that, it was like almost like a store charge. You'd have like a little notebook that was sandwiched between two plastic cards, and that was your credit card.
Yeah, true. So,
Weird.
I don't know, there's some weird little things that are coming up from this.
No, I just remember when I first had my license, I'd cash my check on a Friday.
Put all in your gas tank on it to Saturday.
No, because it was it was cheap back then.
That's true. When I got my license, gas was 98 cents a gallon.
Yeah, so I would put, I'd take $20 and I'd fill my tank, and it'd be good for the whole week because I didn't work very far from my house. And that was my ritual.
Well, I used a little more gas because my car had much worse gas mileage than your first car. My first car got like 13 miles a gallon.
Yeah, but I even used to be able to, from like a quarter of a tank for $20, I could fill the town with premium.
Yeah, well,
in the old world.
The old world.
I'm a child, so I always had a debit card when I was filling gas and of driving age, so...
Yeah, because when did you get your license? In like 2005?
That's not too far off, actually, I think, because... yeah, I would have had to have been like 16, because Arizona you can get your permit 15 and a half, and then you get your full license at 16.
15-year-olds out driving around.
Yeah, no, I would illegally drive all the time without like a adult or whatever.
In Mexico, of course.
But
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so probably about like 05, 06.
Okay, so like a year and a half ago.
Not really.
It feels like it.
It does seem like 2005.
Like my
ago.
truck is a 2005, and I'm like, man, I love driving this brand new truck around.
Yeah.
12 years old.
Yeah.
Super annoying.
04WX. This is a brand new car. No, it's 13 years old, dude.
Yeah.
It's old.
Yep. Anyway, it's crazy to me to think that all these advances have happened since.
So you want to
1969.
know why it was illegal to pump your own gas?
That's the most important question I have tonight.
And I have the laws from New Jersey because they're the only ones that still enforce it, really. But it's similar to Oregon, I assume.
Oregon.
Oregon
You
Trail.
said it correctly.
I forget what I said the first time.
Oregon.
I'm going to convert you eventually.
Well, I should know it because apparently I'm part of the Oregon, and you are too, Andrew, part of the Oregon Trail generation.
It's Oregon Trail.
So
this is the Retail Gasoline Dispensing Safety Act.
that sounds very U.S. government and convoluted.
Well, it's New Jersey government. So the legislature finds and declares that.
Can we blame Chris Christie for it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think he tried to get rid of it. If I remember. Somebody did. It says, because of the fire hazards directly associated with dispensing fuel, it is in the public interest that the gas station operators have the control needed over the activity to ensure compliance with appropriate safety procedures, including turning off the vehicle engines and refraining from smoking while fuel is dispensed. Because I feel like if people weren't told not to do that,
They're just going to do it anyway.
they would do it. In fact, the last 2 times
People
I
do
filled
it.
up
Yeah.
fuel, a guy was running his truck while he was doing it, and then just tonight, a woman was running her car, and the attendant came out and said, "Can you please shut that off? It's mass state law." And then she must have just been finished. She didn't even say anything to him, just like finished up and drove off.
In true masshole fashion.
Yep. He was just like, okay.
Well, I remember it was last winter. I was here near your house. I think I was leaving podcast recording, and the Shell station on the corner, the car in front of me was like a fairly new Volkswagen Jetta, and the filler is on the passenger side quarter panel.
Yep.
And the girl's filling it up, and her friend leans out of the back of the car. So she's in the back seat, right in front of the filler, to talk to her, and she's ripping a cigarette butt.
Oh my God.
Like a foot and a half away from the filler.
She's inside the car, though.
But she's hanging out of the car with the cigarette butt hanging out of the car.
It's like
I was like, I'm going to move to the other side of the gas station now because it hasn't started pumping yet. So
the Darwin Awards, let it.
yeah,
work
well, I
itself
was pretty
out.
close, so I would have been part of their Darwin experiment.
The fire stuff goes off pretty fast in those.
Oh man, nothing's worse than when that goes off when it's not supposed to.
Well, I told you that story about the Subaru a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That I was like, I was behind him driving down the road, and
It was like a new Subaru.
the guy was smoking like crazy. It wasn't. I mean, again, it was probably a 12, so it was new enough.
Yeah.
So I'm driving down the road, and the car is smoking. And I'm like, that's weird. And then the smoke was getting blacker and blacker, and I see like oily, fiery bits dripping out of the bottom of the car, and I'm like, oh. So I'm honking at the guy and trying to get his attention, and finally he notices something is wrong. And he takes a left-hand turn into a gas station with his car on fire and parks right next to the pumps. And like I roll in behind him, I'm like, you gotta move, you gotta move. Like, you can't park here. So he's like, what? So some other guy saw the whole thing happening, like runs over and jumps in the guy's car and drives it out of the gas station back onto the street. Because the guy parked at the gas pumps, this flaming car. It turns out he had a short at the battery terminal. And it caught everything on fire in that corner of the car.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. And that was fun because it melted the hood release cable
Yeah.
and the hood latch, so the fire department couldn't open the hood. So they just got it with axes and the jaws of life and cut the whole front of the car open.
You just watched it.
It was awesome. Yeah.
That sounds great.
Oh, man.
It was awesome because it wasn't my car.
Was he vaping?
He was not vaping. No, it was not a WRX. It was just a
Regular.
middle-aged man commuting home in his gray Impreza. Yeah, it was kind of sad. It was interesting to watch,
He'll
but
just get another one,
I felt
it's
bad for the
fine.
guy, but I'm sure
He
it
had
was
mass
insured.
plates?
Yeah,
He had
insurance.
insurance.
Yeah,
He's
We'll get another one.
I'm sure he was fine. It was very interesting. I think I was coming here. Wasn't I coming here? When that
Yeah,
happened?
something like that.
Yeah.
No, you were mad because you're.
Oh, no, I was supposed to meet you to get our suits fitted for your
You
wedding.
couldn't get fuel. That's what it was because they
Yeah,
shut
fuel.
they shut the pumps off.
I was looking to get diesel fuel. That's where I was headed to. It was the only diesel station within like 10 miles of there.
Oh man.
Anyway.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously shut the pumps off. A flaming car pulled into the gas station.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at them for shutting the pumps off.
So at this is the other rule. At self-service gas stations in other states, cashiers are often unable to maintain a clear view of activities of customers dispensing gasoline, to give their undivided attention to observing customers. Therefore, when customers rather than attendants are permitted to dispense fuel, it's far more difficult to enforce compliance with safety procedures.
Now, I'm not one to, throw shade on general professions of people, but I feel like the average gas station lot attendant isn't really that in tune with the local laws and regulations of.
They know to
Things.
have you shut your car off and to not smoke.
They know their job.
But some people just
Don't care.
I think the people that let their car run when they fill it up have just never had anything bad happen from doing it. Like, I don't know who told them that was okay, but
Yeah.
they're clearly adults. So somebody told them at some point, and they've probably been doing it for a long, long time, and they're never not going to do
Well,
it.
that happened to, I think it was one of the members of Aerosmith, Bradley Whitford, I think. Because Aerosmith is a local band to
Yeah.
us, and he was filling his Ferrari,
Yeah.
and he left it running. And a flash fire happened. 'cause
Well, it's a Ferrari.
it's going to burn eventually anyway. But it was running, and the fuel is right next to the engine, and I don't know if it dripped fuel on the exhaust through the open engine cover thing or
Yeah.
what happened, but there's a big fire.
Which
So-
theoretically it would be hot anyways if it was just running, but
True.
less hot.
Slightly less hot.
But I don't know. It's just weird that people do that. And then the other thing too is if some transient is hanging around the gas station, they just jump in and steal your car if it's running.
So transients.
Yeah,
Is this a segue into the Oregonians' complaints?
maybe eventually.
Okay, that's a word used very, very often in their ridiculous complaints.
So, and then of course their other complaint was the state needs stronger measures to enforce compliance by its customers, and so the ban on self-service allows compliance by attendants with safety procedures. And they argued that insurance would be higher for self-service gas stations. The exposure to toxic gasoline fumes presents health hazard when customers dispense their own gasoline,
Especially while smoking.
particularly in the case of pregnant women. So if
Especially
you're,
while smoking and pregnant.
yeah, if you're pregnant, just go to a full-service gas station, I guess, right? If there's a choice. And then
I never heard of there being a problem.
We were sucking down high VOC paint fumes for how long?
yeah.
I think like a little bit of
I know.
gasoline every now and then isn't going to be a big deal.
And just the exhaust of driving a car around, like being in traffic. Like,
diesel, like in front of you or something.
so
Sorry.
then the other thing, the thing that really got me, so this one is the significantly higher prices usually charged for full-service gasoline in states where self-service is permitted results in discrimination against low-income individuals who are under greater economic pressure to undergo the inconvenience and hazards of dispensing their own gasoline.
Wow.
Yeah.
But if everyone has to do it, I mean,
That's what they're saying, is they make it illegal because then everybody has to pay more money and
doesn't
have somebody do it
disadvantage
for
anyone.
them. Whereas if somebody's trying to save a buck and they can't afford full self-service, now they have to pump their own gas.
See, a lot of
now
people's-
they have to injure themselves.
A lot of the argument in New Jersey was that their full service is actually pretty cheap, but it's because their gasoline taxes are lower.
Right.
They're not as high as they are here. So
But
that's-
not only that, but the competitive stations are competing against each other.
yes.
So they're not going to have a higher number for full serve and a lower number for self serve because there isn't a self serve.
Yes. And that actually is the reason why, that's the real reason why a lot of people believe this law exists, was because of price fixing, or is because of price fixing. So,
Because they could charge more because they had to justify
yes.
their employees.
And then, so here's another one that was really crazy. So the increasing use of self-service has contributed to the diminished availability of repair facilities and maintenance services at gasoline stations. Yeah.
no.
So even in filling stations which offer both self-service and full-service gasoline, customers are less likely, because of the much higher price usually charged for full service, to have attendants make needed maintenance checks, thus causing significant neglect of maintenance and danger both to the customers and other motorists.
Wow, that is a stretch and a half.
Yeah,
gonna
as well as
happen anyway.
as well as the unneeded costly repairs which are deferred.
Have you ever
maintenance.
told somebody who doesn't know or doesn't think they need tires that their tires are junk? They don't care.
I was like sitting, I just went to go get the winter tires mounted on the Subaru on the cross truck, and sitting there, like, two people needed brake jobs, and they were both like,
No.
is it really bad? Like, how bad is it?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's this many millimeters, and that's not great. And like, we're obligated to tell you that it's unsafe to drive the car.
Yeah,
Oh, you have to at this point for the litigious reasons.
Like,
If you let a
crazy.
car leave and they drive away and smash into somebody and somebody's like, oh, their brakes are worn out.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
Yep.
You're on the hook.
So, now, according to an op-ed by Paul Mulsheen on NewJersey.com, the real reason was corruption.
Oh, geez. New Jersey
So-
was corrupted?
Yeah,
Oh, my
well-
goodness.
That doesn't
government-
make any sense.
Is this where Chris Christie comes in?
No, this is 1949.
Oh, okay.
So, apparently in 1949, Irving Reingold, who created the crisis, led to the law banning self-serve gasoline. Reingold, a workaholic who took time out only to fly his collection of World War II fighter planes. So they're like brand new in 49.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you collect World War II fighter planes 2 years after the
well, maybe
war's
they're
over?
real cheap surplus. I don't know. Started the crisis by doing something gas station owners hated. He lowered prices. So he was selling gas at 21. So gas was selling at 21.9 cents a gallon. So this price was rigged by a gentleman's agreement among gas station owners. So Reingold decided to offer the customer a choice by opening up a 24-pump gas station on Route 17 in Hackensack, New Jersey. He offered gas at 18.9 cents a gallon. That's significant back then.
Yeah, of course it is.
The only requirement was that drivers pump it themselves.
That's like 15%.
He said people lined up for blocks. The other gas station operators didn't like the competition. Someone tried shooting up Reingold's station.
With their Tommy gun or from their World War II
I
fighter
know.
plane?
But he installed bulletproof glass. That's part of the story. And then they went to the State House. So the Gasoline Retailers Association prevailed, and it pushed through this bill banning self-serve gas. And the pretext was safety. But Hackensack Fire Chief, this is in 49, said it was perfectly safe, but they decided not to. And supposedly, to this day, that's why New Jersey has full-service gas.
Because of organized crime, more than likely.
Yeah, or just businesses getting together.
Ollie's getting a little anxious here on the table, it sounds like. Hey, what?
So then we have it's been tried to repeal it like a couple times. So even in 81, so he's still a New Jersey State Senator, Gerald Cardinale.
He still is to this day?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
An opinion piece in the New York Times.
That's a whole other topic for a whole other day.
Cardinelli wrote this. The executive director of the state's Gasoline Retailers Association has stated that he's concerned about unthinking consumers burning themselves to death because they would likely pump gasoline while smoking.
Just going to shower myself in gasoline.
I mean, this is 1981, so a lot of people are still smoking.
Not all pumping gas?
No. Well, you never know.
Maybe.
I mean, it's 2018.
I've seen people smoking
so.
while pumping gas before, so as we discussed earlier. And he says insurance-based premiums, which are based on accident experience, are essentially the same for both full-service and self-service stations. So this is Cardinelli saying this.
That doesn't make a difference.
Nope. And then he said, this is in 1981. In any event, the safety features required for self-service station promise make them even safer than full-service stations. So this was interesting. The Consumer Council of Massachusetts has found there is no increased fire risk at self-service stations. So this is the report is from 1977. The fire safety record of gasoline service stations has traditionally been outstanding. Fire frequency statistics indicate that only firehouses have a better fire safety record than service stations. So this was, again, in 1977.
This makes it sound like it's a non-problem to me.
The advent of self-service has not compromised this record in the least. So clearly it's proven they're trying to make the case, even in 1981, and especially now. It's been over 30 years of 48 states allowing people to pump self-serve gas.
There's not a massive collection of dead people from pumping your own gas.
There is some crazy accidents that happen, but in general, it's quite safe to pump your own gas.
Everybody's seen the video of the guy trying to kill the spider next to his gas tank with a lighter.
Yeah.
So there are still dummies out there.
Yeah. So, what stuck with me the most from this was that, from his opinion piece, was that according to an industry survey, consumers chose self-service stations for two primary reasons: speed of service and lower price. And he says, in these times of high prices and tight schedules, this is 1981. Still applies. Doesn't seem to be fair that New Jersey's 5 million motorists, could be more by now, should pay as much as 3 to 7 cents more a gallon.
Could also be more by now.
Yeah, for the privilege of long waits at idle gas pumps while attendants finish pumping fuel into other vehicles.
Which is exactly what you said earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were in a border state of New Jersey, you would just drive to the other state
Probably.
and get gas.
Yeah. Well, again, we're not experienced with the local in-town gas stations at New Jersey as much as we are with
I guess
the interstate ones.
Yeah.
So
Cardinelli says this: while reviewing some newspaper accounts of past self-service legislative battles, I spotted what made the most hollow argument of all. And again, we echoed this earlier. In 1979, a lobbyist for the Gasoline Retailers Association was quoted as saying, "What you save in self-service, you will wind up paying in the end for a road call when your fan belt breaks. You'll pay for the neglect of not having someone look under the hood." But nobody does that. Not even 1981, I don't think people really did that.
no, that's up to the owner of the car to take care of anyway.
And now we're back to Cardinelli. He says, personally, I can't remember the last time a station attendant routinely looked under the hood of my car.
And that's in 1981.
Yeah. I guess that means I'm paying twice.
Almost 40 years ago.
Yeah, I'm paying twice the neglect of not having someone look under the hood. What I pay an extra nickel a gallon, and later, if my car breaks down, which happens with no more frequency for a car that is fueled at self-service station than one that is fueled at full-service station. So
there's no really good reason for these people to have these make it illegal to pump your own gas.
No.
It's just all scare tactics and politics.
So that's why the people in Oregon are scared, because they're uninformed, to pump their own gas. It would be nice in the cold weather to go to a full-service station.
But you have the choice.
You do have the choice.
Yeah.
Here, you definitely have the choice.
Well, that's the thing, too.
I even know where the only full-service diesel station around is when it's really cold out.
Yeah.
Isn't, with Oregon, the whole thing is it's rural areas, but at the same time, they'll probably still have the option for full serve if they want.
Well, they have
it.
to for the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yes.
You have to have a button there where if there's a reason you can't pump your own gas, somebody can do it for you.
Yeah.
And you don't pay extra for that either because,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an able-bodied human being who should be able to pump their own gas, you shouldn't take advantage of that.
Sure.
But it's there for somebody who physically can't pump their own gas. The option is there to push the little wheelchair button, and somebody will come pump it for you.
Yeah, so the reason I went over the history, was because both laws in Oregon and New Jersey are holdovers from 100 years ago.
Right. When you had to buy your gas in an open bucket.
Yeah, when putting your gas in was a messy and hazardous task. So this is like a consumer choice thing, right? Like, why can't the consumers of New Jersey or Oregon?
Well, we're learning quickly why they shouldn't have the choice, because they're absolute idiots in Oregon.
Yeah, apparently this is full service stations didn't disappear when
Right.
they made self-service legal. There's at least one full service station in every town, and some towns here in Massachusetts apparently still don't allow it. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Arlington?
local blue laws?
yeah. So if it's your prerogative, then go to a full service station.
Yeah.
Or some people like.
prerogative. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like some people like it, and if you can find one that provides full true service, because there's I guess they're few and far between, but they still do. Like, go there. I don't know.
I'm sure they do exist. There's probably somebody out there, some enterprising business owner, who's like, "Hey, let's do a traditional style gas station where we check everything in the car when it comes in."
And they should wear suspenders and bow ties and
Yeah.
old man
Well, the other
hats.
problem is that today's cars, like if you buy a brand new car
Like
today,
an Audi doesn't have a dipstick.
Right.
not only that, you can't see a fan belt.
Yeah.
It's all covered in plastic shrouding,
Right.
so there's nothing for somebody to look at quickly
Yeah.
at the gas station.
Man, get after those carbs, huh?
I'm not even thinking carbs. There are many fuel-injected cars where I can still see the fan belt.
So,
But yes, everybody should drive carbureted cars and have to know how to tune them and work on them.
So do you
and keep
think
them running in the
everyone
winter.
should know how to pump gas?
Of course they should.
Do you think everyone does know how?
it's
No, they
adulting.
don't.
It's adulting 101.
Can I remind you of a time Andrew didn't know how to get gas into a car that he was
Maybe.
driving?
It must have been a specific case, though, like the fuel door was hidden somewhere or something.
Oh, it's so hidden. So hidden.
Was it like a 55 Chevy with hidden behind the taillight?
No, it was
That was a 55. That was
everybody else Trans Am.
Oh, behind the license plate.
Yes.
I forgot that they were
should
behind
have
the license
known
plate.
that.
I forgot.
Mike Cutlass had it there.
I
This is
forgot.
like five.
So why did they do that? Because you could pull up to any side of the pump.
Yeah.
I have no idea why they did it, but
That must
I
be
think it's
why.
probably just like a style thing too. Like it's
it's hidden,
concealed.
concealed.
And I guess you just threw the tank at the back of the car, so when you got in the accident, it just explode.
That was
But-
only when it was metal on metal contact in a Pinto.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago.
Or what, incendiary devices in the front of the headlights?
So that was in the side saddle tanks on the Chevy pickup trucks.
Yeah.
They put little explosive devices, little explosive charges in the headlights of the Chevy Citation.
Yeah.
That they drove into the side of it for, was that 2020?
Something like that.
One of those trash TV shows.
Yeah.
To show why they were so dangerous. But anyway, that's again a whole other subject for a whole other day.
So there has been there was a local news station in Oregon that posted like a Facebook thing, like, what do you think about the new laws? And like the comments like just got like so ridiculous on it.
all he doesn't like the new laws.
No. And like some
One
of the
bark for disappointed.
I don't like that.
some of the people were just like, I mean, I think they eventually just got drowned out by all the people making fun of them. But
Right,
like one
but
of
there
the
are a couple
pinned comments,
quotes, yeah.
like the top one, it just says, wherever this lady was, she's like, no, disabled and seniors, people with young children in the car need help. Not to mention getting out of your car with transients around and not feeling safe too. This is a very bad idea. Grr.
Yes.
Like, wait, what?
If you can use Twitter, you can pump your own gas.
Then go to a full service station. If you don't want to get out of the car, go to a full service station.
Now, my favorite, I don't know if you copied it in here anywhere, was the one who said that you should put your window down and give transients money to pump gas into your car.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I really liked. I mean, some of them were just so funny when they're making fun of. Like one of my favorite ones. This person is making fun of people who can't do it. And he says there was only one service station in the area I lived, and I had to drive 25 miles to get there. I pumped my own gas my whole life, and now my hands have literally melted down to my wrists. I'm typing this with my tongue.
Yeah. Obviously
So
making
ridiculous.
fun of the people who are saying that they shouldn't have to pump their own gas.
Yeah.
So there's going to be this no matter what happens, as people that are entitled, people that don't have everything done for them their whole entire lives. You know, even in my industry I work in, I had a customer, obviously no names mentioned, who has a $500 car crash deductible, and says that she'll only bring the car in if we cover her deductible. And then we finally convince her that we can't cover her deductible because it's the majority of her repair is that $500, and then she won't repair the car because she doesn't like the rental car.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's just there's just, people are just so entitled, and you're going to get that no matter what you're doing. So please make fun of those entitled people all the time.
Oh, I think there should be public shaming for people who are dumb, do dumb things.
Not people who are dumb, people who do dumb things that aren't dumb.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Right. So it's not, if you're not doing something illegal, but you're doing something that's really stupid,
Public shaming.
you should be public shamed. Definitely.
I agree 100%.
So some final thoughts. I couldn't find an exact date when Mass made self-service legal, so I assume it was 81.
I assume it was never illegal.
What, self-serve?
Yeah.
No, I think it was...
I don't think it was nationwide that it was legal.
No, most states legalized it in 81.
Most states legalized it in 81.
Yeah.
But I don't think every state necessarily had a law in the books where it was illegal.
Oh, okay.
I think we could ask like our parents, who were certainly pumping gas here before 81,
Okay.
if they pumped their own gas. 'Cause I'm pretty sure they did. I know my father specifically always said he never let anybody pump his own gas ever.
Yeah.
Pump his gas ever. He never let anybody pump his gas.
I'm not going to let you pump my own gas.
Yeah.
And then a crazy thing I found, so I'm sure other people have them, but in Massachusetts, the hold open clips to keep your pump going
Yeah, pump until it's full.
were not legal in Massachusetts ever until like 2015.
Which is funny because I remember some stations having them before 2015.
Oh, apparently people just put them on and not care.
Okay, because they're super convenient.
They're super convenient, especially when it's cold out, because you can... Now, some people...
So apparently they're super convenient, but also when the pump stop malfunctions. Actually, you know what? I vividly remember.
Did you jam your gas cap in there?
My gas cap in there that night. Yes.
That's what some people do, yeah. Yeah. So...
You stand on end in between the handles.
See, I never had to deal with this because they
You
weren't...
guys had the clips.
And
Because
so when I
Arizona
moved
is the
here-
Wild West. There's no laws.
I moved here.
15-year-olds driving, gas clips on gas pumps.
I moved here and I was like, I don't understand. Why does every gas station not have these? This is really annoying.
Yeah, it's super annoying.
And it's funny because they have the spot for it, too.
Yes.
And I think
They
what
have
used
to
to
remove
happen,
them.
they remove them. What happened was they'd replace the handle.
Yes.
They wouldn't remove the tab.
Yeah.
And it would just get forgotten about.
Exactly.
until the
Some
inspector
inspector
came
come, yeah.
2 years down the road and was like, hey, this clip can't
And
be
a lot of
here.
places still don't have them now because they only
took them
do
off.
it. They only do it when they replace the handles. 'Cause
Correct.
It's annoyingly expensive to replace a little tab unless you need a whole handle.
Correct.
So it's funny because like some people are like, these are great. I clip it and then I get back in the car when it's cold out. It's like, well, you shouldn't do that either.
Static electricity.
Yeah, because it's static electricity. So pro tip:
However, okay, do your pro tip.
you can when you get out, if you're gonna get back in your car and leave the
Tap some
thing,
shit.
yeah, you got to touch the
Yeah,
trunk
that's what I was
first.
going to say. Touch metal on the car to
Yeah,
because they
not-
let static charge
yeah.
it.
But it's like especially critical for places
Especially
where
when it's cold and dry.
Like,
Yeah, and if you're wearing a big heavy jacket and you have cloth seats,
Yeah,
you're going to
Or-
create static electricity getting out of the car.
in good old desert Arizona, my cousin was saying one day that dew point was like ridiculously high, I guess.
Low.
low.
Opposite. And
Dew point is water content.
she, like, literally, like, you would get static electricity from just existing. And so she had to, like, she tapped herself, like, multiple times, like, all over the side of the car before returning back to the pump. But,
I just stand next to it. I just put my hands in my pocket.
yeah.
Which probably creates static electricity.
No, because I didn't get
Putting
back
your
in the
hand
car.
in your pocket probably does.
No,
The
I
friction
don't think
of the
so.
cloth on your glove and
don't know.
it could.
It does cause explosions. There has been like
Cases of that.
Yeah.
But they say, what is, like, you just leave the thing in the car. I mean, obviously.
yeah. Don't pull it out. Just
Yeah.
leave it there.
Oh, there's a fire or explosion?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Or just put it back in.
But
Yeah.
people are like, oh no, let me pull this out of here.
spraying gas everywhere like
Yeah.
Zoolander.
Yeah. Or like Happy Gilmore.
I thought it was Zoolander. Was it?
Zoolander and Happy
Oh, okay.
Gilmore.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yep. Or like, was It's Always Sunny? The gang solves the gas crisis.
Oh, they had
just
the
pouring into a
55-gallon
gas down.
drums
Yeah.
back of the van.
Yeah, I guess if you had self-service, you can't just put it into a random container. Which, that's the other thing, too. I was like, wait a minute. I had to look that up in New Jersey if you can fill. I was like, you must be able to fill up gas cans, but you have to have the attendant fill up your gas cans. Like, that's so annoying.
That's definitely annoying. They're probably super annoyed by that, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I already discussed that some towns in Mass are like being a dry town, like you have to have full
So, like,
service.
blue laws.
Yeah. And then fun fact, my grandfather worked as a gas station attendant after World War II, and the station was next door where my grandmother lived, and that's how they met. So,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, so
You owe your existence to the
the full service gas station. That's right.
Man, talk about full service. Oh, sorry. Okay, go on, Andrew. Sorry.
Well, no,
Derailed this one.
you were already making fun of me about not knowing that gas caps are under rear license plates, but
That's true.
I was trying to figure out like why And it must be because you can pull up to any side of the pump.
No idea.
Well,
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that.
and it's like not to like make it a feminist thing either, but my mom had a friend, and I was probably like 10 when this happened, but she had married young and then ended up separating from her marriage, and my mom sold her this old GM car that we had that she was like, I don't need this, you can take it.
Which GM was the famous one for having the fuel filler behind the
And so,
license plate.
but of course, like when she got married young and like her husband just always took care of these types of things, one of them being putting gas in the car. And so she literally did not know how to do that. And so she went to the gas
So
station.
she moved to Oregon to get away from all of these problems, and now she doesn't know what to do with her life.
No, she still lives in Arizona. But anyways, she had to have like the gas attendant help her, and then of course there was like a locking gas cap because that was the era when those were popular.
Yep.
And she had to call my mom like 3 times. Like, I don't understand. And the key was with the car key.
Can you imagine the anxiety of getting gas for your first time, not knowing what to do?
Yeah. And she like had no idea where
I think
it
one
was.
of the first times I
like-
went to a full service station.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I think that the fuel door behind the license plate is probably a cost savings thing.
Yeah.
Probably. They don't have to make extra parts and paint extra parts. They just have this piece they already need a separate piece to mount the license plate. You might as well put a hinge on it and put the thing behind it. So that's probably what it's for.
All right.
More than anything else, that's probably the reason for it.
And probably styling. Clean lines.
Yeah.
So, bonus.
I don't know. If you look at my GM 80s cars, styling wasn't
terrible.
a
Yeah, but it was there.
important measure.
I think that
My
was our
dad's 65 Pontiac.
Malibu.
Is it behind the plate in that car?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was a Malibu.
Yeah, Malibu's had them behind the Malibu's, Monte Carlos, Cutlass.
It was like full-size GMs.
Yeah, mid and full size.
Yeah.
It was like a 80, I don't know what year it was.
Camaros, Firebirds.
Yeah.
Actually, my Camaro, 68, has it right in the dead center in the back, but it's
You
above
have to
the plate.
unscrew it, right?
Yeah, it's a cap above the plate. So it's like a styling piece. It's like a race car cap kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not like chrome plated.
No, it's got a chrome edge and it's black and it says SS in the middle of it.
Fancy.
And then some people don't know about the little arrow in your gauge cluster. Tell you what
Yeah.
side the fuel
Not
is
every
on.
car, but a lot.
But
of
a
them.
lot of modern cars now have it. So
Actually, I like briefly was curious about that because I think it comes up to a lot when people rent cars. They don't think
They
about
don't know
it.
what side it's on. Yeah.
And but that's like a pro tip. Or what I was reading, I don't know
I think sometimes it's where the little logo for the gas pump.
location. So if it's on the right side of the gauge cluster, or versus the left side, then that's supposedly what side the gas.
Never
is
thought
on.
about that. Interesting.
Yeah.
But mine's right
Which
in the middle.
I hope the little gas pump
Helpful.
logo. Yeah, but I think you have an arrow. Doesn't
Yes, I do.
get obsolete like the save logo did.
Right.
Because like it only kind of looks like a like it kind of looks
The
like a gas
save
pump.
logo on like a Windows document is still a floppy disk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like children literally don't know,
Don't know what it means. It means save.
They're like, this is a
Square box
save
means
button.
save. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, that's all I have about full service gas station. I hope you
That's a-
learned a bunch about full service gas stations.
Pretty good thoughts, Andrew. I'm very happy that eventually we found out why it was illegal.
Yeah,
I'm
isn't that
very
weird?
upset that it was so ridiculous, but
Yeah.
I'm happy I know.
So yeah, because I was
Continue to
wondering.
not try to get gas in New Jersey ever.
I was just always wondering it. It's like, why don't they just do full service? It seems pretty safe. So
I think we should drive through New Jersey and start lighting gas stations on fire and prove that it's wrong.
No, probably not. That's probably not a good idea.
Probably shouldn't have said that
Definitely
out loud.
not going to do that.
Okay.
That was a total joke.
Yeah, 100% joke. I didn't say that at all.
So, if you like our podcast, if you enjoyed that, you can go on Facebook and like our page, and then set it to see updates first, so you see our post first. Otherwise, you won't see us. We get pushed to the bottom. If you want to ask us questions and stuff, when we post ask us question, post, blah, blah, blah.
Say that again, because I don't know what you just said, and I'm sitting here.
Questions, posts.
Yeah, when we post,
When we post a post about questions, respond to the post with your questions.
yes.
He's not
But
even
you
on
won't
cold medicine tonight.
see
either.
it. No, I took Dayquil.
Oh.
And a half a beer.
Yeah. Yeah, these are good. These are 7% Great North that Jordan left here. So, yeah, you won't see it if you want to ask us questions when we post about it. If you don't set it to follow us or have us come up first, then, of course, leave us.
We can be second. We understand if your family comes first.
Yes. Of course, please rate and review us on iTunes or Google Music or Stitcher or wherever you listen to us on, and drop us a message, and I will send you stickers. I have stickers going out to a couple people.
Do we?
I do.
All right. And we will send out prizes
Yes,
for the contest.
that's right.
For realsies.
We will.
And we'll send them to the previous winners, too. We never got them because we're
that was on
slackers. That was on me. It's okay.
Stephanie is consistently providing stamps in order to send these stickers.
That's right.
Let the records
My
show that
contribution.
I do have stamps in my pocket if we needed them.
So thanks for listening, and aim for the roses, and keep your cars analog.
Before you say all your closing things, you should probably tell people where they can find us.
Oh,
instead of telling
that's
them
right.
to find us. Like, rate, and review us on Facebook. Good luck finding us. Good night.
Got off track.
It's
So
like-
we are
it's
out of
the- It's the hunt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know how to Google. Just Google us. Auto Off Topic Podcast on Facebook. Auto Off Topic on Instagram. I am Raced in Anger on Instagram.
I am TSISS350 on Instagram,
Yep.
and our guest is...
What, Ollie?
No. He does not have an Instagram. He's not fancy like Enzo.
Cuddle Buddy Enzo has his own Instagram if you want to follow his antics.
Which is mostly sleeping.
Mostly sleeping, yeah.
Sometimes playing with Ollie.
What he does. And then Steph's Ugly Kitchen, a couple more updates there, but that's it.
All right.
Now we can aim for the roses.
Yeah, aim for the roses and keep your cars analog. Right, Ollie? You good? You're not going to bark now on command.
Ollie, bark. Bark. Arr.
You want a cookie?
Arr. 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 There we go.
All right. Good night.
There we go.
All right.